hurt.
Uh, Phil was with us in spirit. Phil was with us. Okay, ready?
All right.
I'm going with my
And
classic off-white, very retro die.
ooh, bone.
Yeah,
All right, I'm
exactly.
going with the one that got me a nat 20 last time for vibes.
I don't know if that's a good idea, but we're going.
That's another nat 20. What is
Are
happening?
you serious? Oh, okay. Well, start building a backup to your backup.
Yeah, I know. All right, Vibe Master back in. God.
I got an 18.
Okay. Okay. All right. This could be a very vibey kind of show.
Yeah, I hope it's the right
Also,
vibe. Welcome to episode 3 of Deepest Darkness here on Dreamroll. I'm your GM, Austin Robert Miller. That's Dan Middleditch. How are you, Dan?
I am so happy to be back.
It's good to have you back.
Thank you. I'm honoring Phil with my ghost shirt.
Is that really a ghost shirt?
Yeah, it's got little sheet ghosts on it.
Awesome. Well,
yeah, looky there.
Our friend Matt Staley is very graciously sitting out for this episode so that we can welcome Dan's new character into the story. The campaign is an unofficial adaptation of the video game Darkest Dungeon by Red Hook Studios, which is a killer game. If you enjoy this episode, subscribe to follow us on the journey, as well as some other miscellaneous shit that we decide to put up on the channel. And also tell us how you'd like us to improve. Leave a comment, please. Shall we start by having you give us a brief recap of the last session that you were involved in?
The last session I was involved in. Do I have to relive that trauma again?
Yeah, I kind of want to watch you do that.
So, as previous viewers know, I was playing a character named Philandriel Straconi, more colloquially known as Phil, a drow cleric, and we were in the process of returning to the Tilcott estate, or actually going to the Tilcott estate for the first time, myself and Jerry. Our cart and horses were all upended, and we were subject to not necessarily an ambush, very possibly a little bit of an altercation started by Phil. And from a meta perspective, Dan forgot to factor in the fact that we had played a session prior to this, our prequel episode, and so I was already at 4 hit points when we started combat. And in true Phil being someone that is very quick to anger, while still a very wholesome boy, very quick to anger, ended up starting a fight with 2 bandits, and in that process found himself. Well, one, I was rolling great. I was so confident. My hubris got the better of me, and I was garroted. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You remember this now. Now you remember.
It's all coming back to me.
It's. But with that, Phil met his very untimely demise, and that's the end of that.
That's the end of Phil.
But you know what? There's still a horse. Hopefully.
You don't know.
That's right, Phil. Yeah, I don't know. Did the horse... I wanted to go into this blind without seeing the next episode.
Totally.
So, because my character would not know any of the information of what happened anyway.
That's right. And Matt is going to avoid watching this so he can be blind too. So that's going to be fun.
Yeah. This is going to be great.
Well, allow me to set the scene. Leading south from the city of Danver, you remember Danver.
Mm-hmm.
Leading south from Danver, a well-traveled road cuts through wide open fields of Faradale Valley. The sun is very high right now, shining down from a cloudless sky. Despite the sunlight that's bathing the valley, cold winds suck up any of the warmth that the sunshine would provide. blowing through the tall grass in rippling waves. A few miles outside of town, where the road is running parallel to the edge of an old-growth forest, a far less traveled road cuts east into the trees, and God knows where that road goes. After all, nobody journeys into the Weald, not without very good reason. At this intersection, pulled off to one side of the road, a rickety wagon sits lopsided, one of its wheels having apparently come off, causing the bed of the wagon to sag heavily to one side, weighed down by crates of something or other. A young woman stands leaning against the side of the wagon, scanning up and down the road, waiting for someone to pass. She wears a pale brown gingham dress that would denote a farmer. She has dishwater blonde hair falling from her bonnet and whipping around her head in the wind. She pulls her shawl close to her shoulders to shield herself from the cold. Out of sight, crouched just within the forest's edge, a man in layered peasant clothes suitable for camouflage in the woods. Severe burn scars on one side of his face are covered by a linen cloth secured to his skull cap. He sits with an arrow nocked in his bow, but he's close to nodding off. On the opposite side of the road, hidden behind the wagon, a woman sits in the dirt, awaiting a signal. She has weather-worn, pockmarked skin and roughly chopped, tangled auburn hair, wearing a crudely stitched leather cuirass over threadbare peasant clothes, and sat in the driver's seat, wearing a fake gray beard and a wide-brimmed hat to disguise himself, is a character that I will let you describe, Dan.
Well, this is none other than Taryn Wolfshead, a bard with King Kelly's brigand of ne'er-do-wells, who is currently disguised. However, if you were to look him out of his facade, he would be someone stands about 5'10", or that height that everyone says they're 6 foot, but they're not. Stands about 5'10", has platinum blonde hair, would be normally very well kept, very well styled, not a single hair out of place, and bright green not glowing, but just vibrant emerald green eyes, and those peering out through under the brim of this hat, with a big fake beard on, and a bit of chagrin is emanating from this man. I say man, it's more like man-child. He's in his mid-20s and is very, very youthful looking outside of this this big fake beard, but still just a level of maybe not chagrin, just very much is just over whatever is about to happen.
You sit facing south down the road, eyes on the horizon waiting for someone to appear, and the woman standing in the road, her name is Hope Taylor, and she is the only one of this team of 4 that you know well, because you both serve as bards for King Kelly under the tutelage of Kelly's chief dramatist, Hartford Winslow. And although you are the only bard on the team to have achieved any bardic magic so far, she is still considered Winslow's star pupil, most likely because of the obvious attraction that he has to her. Hope calls out, Wait, here's someone. You turn around to face north toward Danver. You see a dark shape is moving down the road towards you.
Do we really have to do this again? It's so boring.
That's what we're out here for, Taryn.
I know, but why does Kelly have us do this all the time? It's so menial. We have so much that we could accomplish. So many things that we could do, so much power we could achieve. And yet, we're here, about to rob some other useless, probably make 3 copper pieces for all of this effort. And for what reason?
That's not for me to say, Taryn. Here, all right, you want to take the lead on this one? Show off your skills?
All right, fine. I guess I'll show you how it's done, star pupil.
As the figure is approaching... What's that?
And just as I do that, I just let out a little... And I cast Mage Hand.
Okay.
And a little spectral hand just starts floating. And it just gives a little wave. And it just starts floating in midair. And it dips under the wagon.
Hope rolls her eyes and waves back at the mage hand sarcastically, and then turns around and she starts to turn it on. She starts to look all weepy and frantic, and she's looking around for a savior. The figure is approaching. You see that it's a man riding a small horse laden with baggy canvas saddlebags. As he gets closer, you see that he's a younger man. He's round-faced and sunburnt. Hope runs out to the middle of the road and begins to wave her hands. She's putting on a show. She says in this weepy voice, "Please, sir, we need help."
Yes, my good man, please, please. My wagon has tipped over. I've lost a wheel. I need your assistance immediately.
Make a deception check.
Deception or performance? Deception.
I think it's deception.
All right.
Yeah.
That's going to be a 17.
Sick. All right. The man slows the horse and he hops off. He goes, wait, it's all right. I could help. Where's the wheel?
I believe it rolled over there. And I just point over the direction of the...
Oh,
just the wheel.
Wait a minute. I'll help you out.
I would help you, my friend, but my back is... I'm not the spring chicken that I once was. So please, if you could help an old man out, that would be wonderful.
He acquiesces. He stops the horse. He starts trudging over around the wagon. As he's doing that, the young woman who is hiding behind the wagon looks up to you. Make an insight check.
That's a 9.
She's looking at you with wide, sort of manic eyes, nodding. She starts to pull out her hatchet.
And I just send the mage hand across. Just touch the hand. Just grab it, and I just look at it.
Make a persuasion check.
That's a dirty 20.
Huh. Okay, sure. She feels the mage hand touch the back of her hand, which is an uncomfortable sensation for her. So she's not exactly, familiar with that feeling.
And the mage hand just turns around and does the little finger wag of no. You can't be Matumbo of it.
She slumps her shoulders. She sheathes her weapon, and she begins to circle the wagon to stay hidden from this guy as he's coming around to where she once was.
Yes, please. I'll need you to prop the wagon up a little bit. If you could just get on that, I'll get off the wagon. I'll give you some assistance and make it a bit lighter.
And Hope runs over. She's gripping her skirt in front of her, and she says, "Please, Father, don't trouble yourself. I'll help in any way I can."
Yes, my dear. Please grab the wheel, and help. Just when he lifts up the wagon, just do what you need to do to get the wheel back onto the wagon. I'll just go wait over here. I'll wait over here by your horse, and I'll just stay out of the way. I'm more harm than good, really.
Hope picks up the wheel and she begins rolling it over to the wagon, and the man says, "Ready?" He lowers down. He begins to heave the wagon with all his might, trying to lift it.
Keep going, you've got it. And then I'm just gonna. Can I do a perception check to? I guess I could just, or it would be a stealth check or sleight of hand to sort of.
Man, just tell me what you want to do. You don't have to decide the check. Just tell me what you're doing.
Great. Then I'll rummage through the saddlebags.
Okay. Not using mage hand, right? That's just what you're just doing that separate.
That's a separate thing, yeah.
Make an investigation check.
Dirty 20.
There's not a lot in the saddlebags that you have to sift through. It becomes pretty apparent that these bags are used to hold copies of the latest edition of the Kirkton newsletter. He is clearly a delivery man for the newsletter, and there are just a couple copies left over after he's made his run through Danver.
And I just shake my head. Shit. I go, "Oh, my good man, where were, out of curiosity, where were you on your way to go? Where were you on your journey?"
"Oh, I was just stopping through Danver, and I was on my way back to Kirkton. That's where I live and work."
"Ah, you were on your way to Kirkton. Now..."
"I'm sorry, I can't... I can't talk quite that much right now."
Let's see how strong he is.
Perfect. While you do that,
Uh-huh.
The mage hand will float around and sort of just like stick a finger in the pocket to like... Oh. Yes, keep going. You're doing wonderful. You're doing great.
Okay. Are you proficient with sleight of hand?
I am expertise with sleight of hand.
So because you're using your mage hand, I'm going to make you roll, but use your charisma instead of dexterity. So you still get to add your expertise, that would be +4, but instead of your dex bonus, add your charisma bonus.
Okay. Oh, so it's just one less. So it would be +5. Okay.
Okay.
That's a natural 20. Vibe checks happened right this time.
You see the tendons in his neck straining and his face going redder than it already was as he's just barely shifting the weight of this wagon. You see Hope standing behind him, like balancing the wheel in her hands, and she's looking over to you, like... He does not move the wagon enough that the wheel can fit back on the axle. And while he's exerting all of his willpower on the lifting of the wagon, your mage hand scoops into his pocket and fishes out some copper pieces.
And I just, I look at Hope and I point I just, gesture over to look at his backside while this is all happening. As the mage hand just picks up a couple of copper pieces, and I just look at it and I go, basically, really? All of this for this?
And her face clearly says, like, well, what are you gonna do? It's a living.
And with that, I'll bring the mage hand back to me, take the copper pieces, pocket them, give a little, and the mage hand just dissipates.
Hope uses the wheel to put pressure under the wagon as well, and quite easier than he was able to, shimmies the wheel back onto the wagon and goes, "Oh my goodness, how could we have ever survived without you? Thank you so much."
You're quite strong, my friend. Well done, well done. Thank you so much.
Well,
now be on your...
Come on, anybody would have done the same, just a good Samaritan.
Yes. You're headed to Kirkton, yes?
Yes, of course. You've been to Kirkton?
I've never been to... I was on my way to Kirkton myself, and I was curious why you're headed there.
Well, that's where I live, actually. I'm a delivery man for the Kirkton newsletter. I make the rounds up and down Fairdale Valley on a monthly basis.
Ah, very nice. Any striking news that's happening at the moment?
Striking news? Well, not that it concerns me much, but there's a new heir to the Tilcott estate that's been found. So, that's some of the local politics.
Now this...
A new heir?
This strikes you because there has been a little bit of hushed gossip within King Kelly's brigands about a new lord to the Tilcott estate that is said to be arriving soon.
A new heir, you say? And you see the glimmer in his eyes. It's like his eyes turned into money signs kind of thing, of just ping.
Yeah, well, it's all above my pay grade, it doesn't affect me much, but that's the talk.
Yes, of course. Very, very well, my good man. Well, you be on your merry way. Thank you so much. We really, really appreciate your help of being such a good Samaritan.
Oh, honestly, you've made my day, giving me the chance to help out someone in need. Really too kind.
If you wouldn't mind, my good friend, I'm a little bit behind on the times of the news. Do you happen to have an extra copy of the newsletter?
Make a persuasion check.
That's a 16.
Well, I'm not really supposed to give out free copies, but you're good folks. Here, take this.
Very good. Thank you so much, my friend. Well, you be on your way.
He hops back on his horse, and he says,
"Well, I wish you better luck and better weather, and have a wonderful day."
Yes, and I'm stood next to Hope and waving, yes, take care, my friend, take care. That was bloody embarrassing. Anyway, take care, have fun. I'm going to kill you later. As I just keep asiding through my gritted teeth to Hope.
That had a little bit of a have fun storming the castle feel to it.
It's...
Yes, goodbye. What a bloody idiot.
We need the other two.
The woman who's been sort of dodging around, hiding behind the wagon in case anything goes down. She stands up to watch him leave. She sort of takes a few steps away from the wagon. She looks at you two. Never get to do my fucking job.
Not everything needs to be solved with violence, my dear.
What am I here for then, huh?
Just in case things go awry.
Well,
it seems like I handled
next
everything
time,
very
could you make certain that something goes awry? I'm getting real bored out here.
I don't really care.
Hope says,
Come, let's go back.
What'd you find?
Once look at our wonderful treasure trove, and how many?
9 copper pieces.
Yeah. Wow, 9 copper pieces.
We're bloody rich.
Flush.
We are in the money. Look at us.
The man who hides in the forest with his bow. He steps out. He walks out.
Oh, you're here too.
Yeah. He peers over your shoulder into your hand. Into your hand, sees the copper pieces. He steps back. He goes back to his spot in the forest. He slumps down against a tree, leans his head back, and closes his eyes.
Well, he really... What a conversationalist you are, aren't you? Very well.
The woman, whose name you don't know, but the woman who isn't Hope, the one who's been fiddling with her axe handle this whole time. She looks down at the copper. She looks up at you. So how much of that is supposed to go to us and how much is supposed to go to the king?
King Kelly, yes, fearless leader. Let's see, we have 9. 4 of us. 1, 2, 3, 4, that means 5. Hope you did a passable job, so you did another.
I did a spectacular job, actually. Thank you.
Passable. Anyway, let's see, that's 2 for you, 2 for me, 4, 5, 6, 1 to you, 1 to him, and then 2 for King Kelly. Actually, you know what? I'd take 1 more copper piece. I'd give myself 3, as I was the brilliant orchestrator of this. So I popped it.
Wait.
Have 2, and you each get 1.
Just a second. I see what you did there. Wait, you think just because you wouldn't let me do my job, you get to take more for doing yours?
I didn't need you to do your job. I'm quite capable of handling all of this on my own.
Well, I don't need you to do silly voices. I could have finished that right off.
Yes, but we didn't need to kill the man for 9 copper pieces.
All I was asking is for you to split it up fairly.
I did. I find that very fair.
She's beginning to breathe heavily.
I'd be very careful if I were you. And you see the glint of something in my eyes of, you know, that even though I may be just a little pretty boy, that there's something far deeper, far darker in me. You're just the help.
She leaps head first. She is trying to tackle you to the ground.
I will do a little flourish away.
You know what?
A little acrobatics.
Let's roll initiative for this.
Oh, God.
See how it goes.
That's an 8 for initiative. Shit.
She gets a nat 1. Hope gets a 5.
Justice for Phil.
Okay, the man in the woods gets an 8. You see her dig her heels in and spring into action. Before she even can, what do you do?
As she goes to lunge, I catch her by the back of the neck, kick her foot that just dug in, kick it out from under her, and like I go to topple her over. Like a sort of like, and it's not a strength sort of thing, it's just utilizing the finesse of understanding how the angles of this person work. So it's grabbing her and just going,
okay, then
and almost
you're gonna make opposed acrobatics checks.
Alrighty. Son of a bitch.
What does that mean?
It was a natural 1.
Oh. Okay, but what's your bonus? Because you still might win.
It's plus 8, so it is a 9.
It's a 9?
Yeah.
She got a 9.
Ooh, do we roll again?
No, I think in this situation, she has to meet it to beat it. Because you initiated it.
And I did get a nat 1, so it's only fair.
I mean, that's the only way that this could have happened. So, you reach your arm around her neck, but then you just feel her head like swooping and ducking under. She's gonna try to make contact shoulder to your chest. But still, while there's all this kerfuffle, we still have hope.
We still have hope. Through all this, we still have...
There's always hope.
Oh, goodness.
Can you tell me a little bit about your relationship with Hope? The person, not the concept.
Thank you for the clarification. It was about to get really, really deep and philosophical. Dare I say, philosophical.
Don't even.
I won't, I promise. I won't keep bringing up Phil. So, I do believe that through all of there's definitely that, dare I say, even like a sibling rivalry. It's not necessarily that it's not that they dislike one another. They are very much competing to be the most favored in the eyes of Hartford Winslow. But there is still a little bit of a glimmer of, I would say, not like a little bit of camaraderie. We're both bards. We're 2/3 of the students of Hartford Winslow, and we know that we're also a cut above this other guy. And so there's that like poking and prodding at one another, even down to like when we're waving, just going, "I'm gonna kill you." That sort of relationship.
Okay. I think her gut instinct is she's standing right there with you. She's going to try to grab this woman by the hips and just like pull her away from you. Oh. Yeah. She can't. She's now just like, her arms are fully extended and she's just yanking.
I don't know why that tickled me so.
Oh. Suddenly, from the woods, an arrow digs into her rib cage. Not Hope, but the woman tackling you. It digs in all the way to the feathered tip of the arrow. And you feel her body go limp and slump down. She's now dead weight dragging down your body.
Just let out a little screech.
Hope looks over. Roger! You look over and you see Roger with his bandaged, burned face, looking over at you with the one eye. And he settles back in against the tree and slumps down.
You can see that.
Hope is standing aghast.
Is there blood on me?
Yes.
Become physically ill. Just and just vomit.
That's all right. Hope walks over and is like patting the back of your head.
No, I detest blood.
All that
Well,
over a single copper piece.
Well,
Wonderful.
just pick up a copper piece. I do the little toss it around in my fingers and I go, oh. Well, Roger, there you are. You have a very nice day.
He
You have a
wordlessly nods, takes a copper piece.
Right. Well, this was a dramatic turn of events. Shall we return
There's now
to our...
a dead body and a pool of blood in the middle of the road.
Oh, about that. Hope, my dear, should we do something about this?
What are you looking at me for? I didn't start the argument.
I didn't finish it either.
Roger!
Oh. What if we...
Roger stands up, he walks over.
What if we... Oh, I have an idea! And I just... As I'm also doing this, I'm also peeling the beard off of my face and removing my hat to reveal just this somehow almost miraculously still perfectly kept coiffed hair in under a hat. And I just sort of drop all of my disguise and I go, what if she... I didn't even catch her name. Huh. Anyway, what if we placed her in the wagon and staged an ambush? What if there was an ambush?
Sorry, I'm not sure I follow.
We place her in the wagon, move the wheel, and almost as if some ne'er-do-well attacked and murdered our dear friend, her.
Whatever her name was, yes. Our dearest.
Yes, do you understand? Yes, do you understand what I'm getting at?
I think I see your point.
Yes, yes.
Alright. Roger, would you be a dear? He lifts her fireman carry over his shoulders, tosses her. You want her in the driver's seat of the wagon or in the back?
I would say in the driver's seat. So it looked like it was just like a ambush out of nowhere.
Slumps her down, tosses her into the seat.
Oh dear, how tragic. Oh, we must return. We must. We're not safe here. We need to leave immediately.
Sick. You are still at the intersection where the highway meets the old road that leads into the forest. About 100 yards to the south of you, you see, as you are climbing into the wagon to set down the old road, two men, one of them on a very tall horse, are wading through the underbrush of the woods and clambering out onto the main road, coming out of the forest.
Can I do a perception check to see what they look like?
Yeah, you can.
Sure don't. That is a 6.
The only people who you would expect to be in the forest, especially off the old road, are members of your gang. But you see that the one of them on the horse is medium stature, narrow build. The one who is walking along in front of the horse, guiding it by the reins, is quite tall, very beefy, broad shoulders. They brush themselves off a bit once they reach the road. They look to each other for a moment, they collect themselves, and they are starting up the road in your direction. But the moment they turn, they see you, and they pause. They're still too far away for you to make out much about them. Hope says, "Who's that?"
Oh. I don't know.
You don't recognize them?
I can't see. It's
She makes a perception check. I don't recognize them.
dead body in the wagon.
You think maybe she should go in the back, cover her up?
Roger.
Aye.
He literally just flips her over the back of the bench and then pulls a blanket over the body. There's still this big pool of blood right in the middle of the road where she died.
Just I'll clamor to put my beard back on and my hat.
Okay.
And yeah, we'll just keep moving.
They get closer. They get close enough that you can start to make out their features, what they're wearing. They are not members of the gang. Neither of them are wearing the distinctive flash of green that is associated with the gang.
Just
for a moment, your mind reels. Why were two men traipsing around in the woods? Hope says, should we try to should we try to get them before we go?
do you see the size of the one? Cat dragging the horse around. We're already down.
Yeah, but
We're down a bit of our muscle. Because someone got a little too overzealous. Let me try something.
You gonna work your magic?
As we just approach closer, have we passed them, or are we?
No, they're now 50 yards from you, but they are still steadily approaching.
We'll just journey through, and as we get, within speaking range. Hello, my fine gentleman. How are you today?
The man on the horse has pale blonde hair, much like yours, except that it is unkept. It's a bit shaggy. It dangles over his face a bit. He's pale. He's a little unshaven. He's wearing the first layer of a peasant's outfit. You look down to the man next to him, and you see a face that you haven't seen in years. You recognize a man with a bald head, shaven head, big, bushy mustache under a broad, flat nose and big brow. He's a bit more aged since you last saw him. But this is Eddie Partridge, the man who left King Kelly's service years ago. You and Roger are the only two that would have been around long enough to know Eddie. Hope joined the gang after Eddie had already left. But the moment that you recognize Eddie's eyes squint a bit and then widen again.
Oh. Well, isn't this a bit of a turn of events?
Do my eyes deceive me? Have you really grown such a voluminous beard since I last saw you?
I just take it off again. No. You old bastard. What are you doing in these dreary woods?
It's been a moment since somebody called me something like old bastard. Brings me back to the old days.
My dear Edward. Well,
Mr. Wolfshead.
One and only. And I take the hat off and I very egregiously gesture.
How has the family been treating you?
Oh, King Kelly with his ever so hyperbolic claims of us taking over everything here and really not following through. As we've had enough.
Hope is looking back and forth between you two, and she looks at you, and through her teeth, she goes, "What are you doing?"
Oh, Edward, I apologize. This is my compatriot, another bard, an aspiring bard, to say the least. Aspiring bard under the wonderful Hartford Winslow.
How could I forget Mr. Winslow?
Yes, and now we can absolutely say that we have a bit of hope. Hope, this is my dear friend Edward, formerly of our esteemed family.
And the man on the horse waves his hand a bit and says, "Well, allow me to make my own introduction. I'm Everett. I can see that you're friends with Eddie."
Oh, Everett. Why does that name sound so familiar?
So, do I understand right that you are
You're members of the gang.
Oh, my good man. No. Oh, I really would rather not use such a derogatory term of gang. We're hardly an organization. That would require things getting done. That would require any sort of effort happening. Would you like to see our wonderful plunder of today? And I pull out 3 copper pieces. Look at this, Edward. Look at this wonderful bounty.
Seems that it's business as usual then.
It's absolutely droll. Utterly. Kelly has us on these missions, shall I say, just to keep ourselves above water, really. And Roger here is, well, he's still Roger.
You turn to gesture to Roger. You find that he is not beside you where he was before.
Oh, Roger.
Make a perception check.
Son of a 7.
You don't see Roger, but you do see Hope eyeing somebody off in the woods.
Hope.
She looks to you
Darling.
and she says, Taryn.
Where has our friend gone?
She looks off into the woods again. She nods subtly. And she looks to Eddie and to Everett. And she says,
All right, well, it's been lovely catching up, but we're at a bit of an impasse, you see. We are below our quota for the day. So, how's about we skip the pleasantries, empty your pockets, and we will walk our separate ways as if nothing ever happened.
Hope, you really are just... You...
Taryn, I don't need this from you now. I need you on the team.
I don't want on the team anymore. Hope.
Nobody wants to hurt anybody, believe me. It's for the best. Let's just make the exchange.
You really are just really insufferable, do you know that? And your hair is so ratty, and I cast a vicious mockery.
Fuck!
roll initiative and you get advantage on the initiative roll.
Good thing, because I keep rolling a 4. Let's see, one more time. I rolled a 3, so with my... Oh, sorry, an 8 for initiative is my... That's my roll.
Okay. Yep. Good. So...
This was more, and for the record, this was more of a... Not to start a fight, but just to put her down.
Yeah, well, you know...
Yeah.
Vicious Mockery is a spell that does
Fair enough.
do damage.
Yeah, I know.
Hope makes a wisdom saving throw. Gets a 9, so she fails, which means that you do 1d6 psychic damage to her.
Do I have my charisma to that?
No.
Or is it just one straight d6? Okay, that's a 2.
Okay. Her face squints a little bit, and her eyes flash to you. And she says, "We're not doing this right now, are we?"
Just remember who's in charge. And I would like to make an intimidation check.
In charge. Sorry, you already spent your action.
Shit.
What's your passive intimidation?
Oh, 15.
Okay. She maintains eye contact with you while from between the folds of her skirt she pulls out a wire-thin rapier.
Oh dear.
Her hand is shaking a little bit. It's clear that she doesn't want to have to make the decision. She hesitates for a moment. From the woods, an arrow glides past your nose, just barely missing you. You look to the side just in time to see Roger reaching for another arrow while he ducks behind a tree. Eddie. Huh. Eddie bounds over to Hope and tries to bear hug her. Oh my god. Yeah, Eddie is both strong and rolled well. Hope is both weak and rolled a nat 1.
Yeah.
He reaches around, folds her arms in, and lifts her feet off the ground. She's now squirming, and although she can only move her arm at her elbow, the rapier is whipping through the air violently. It's your turn.
Can I take a free action to just call out? All right, everyone. No, we don't need to resort to violence here. Everything's fine.
Yes, but you can't roll a persuasion check unless that's your action.
All right, I'll roll a persuasion.
Okay.
Come on. Don't do me like Phil. Oh, it's a dirty 20.
Okay. All right. Hope looks at you. She's sort of like shaking with both nerves and anger, and she very hesitantly and regrettably lets the rapier fall out of her hand, which clatters into the dusty road. And Everett says,
"It's all right. I've been in your shoes 100 times before. It does not have to go like this."
He slowly sets her feet back down onto the ground.
There we go. Roger.
An arrow digs into Eddie's chest.
Bloody hell, Roger.
Oof. That's a lot.
Oh, God. Not again. Why does everyone I die?
Let's see how much he has in hit points.
Oh, God.
Okay. The arrow digs in. He doubles over a little bit.
Now.
It's your fuck. It's your turn. No.
Roger,
wait,
will you?
Wait.
Oh.
It's his turn.
Wait, Eddie's or?
It's Eddie's turn. It's also Everett's turn. And Everett's turn is to slide off the back of the horse and hide behind the horse. Eddie, while yanking the arrow out of his pack, starts stomping over into the woods. He's looking around a little frantically. It's all right. You can come out. We can talk about this. Or you can walk away right now. But he doesn't see where Roger went. It's your turn.
Roger, will you please? Roger, will you please stop acting so hastily? You know what? You can have the rest of my share of all of the wonderful plunder that we have. You can have all of my copper piece. And you can have what I was going to give to Kelly. How does that sound?
Would you like to make another persuasion check?
I would.
Okay.
That is a 17. Yeah, 17.
All right, you take 6 points of damage. An arrow digs in to your abdomen. But in doing that, Roger has given away his location, his hiding spot. Eddie barrels over, reels back his fist. Pretty good. Gives one solid hook to Roger. He stumbles back, and Roger is going to start to retreat, just about face, and scurry through the woods. Hope has her arms in the air, like, what is going on? And why is Taryn switching fucking sides?
I'm so over this. I'm so done with all of you. How far away is Roger from me?
He's now like 40 feet away from you.
All right. And he is retreating?
He is. He's running.
If I let him go, will the combat end?
You don't know.
Okay, then. With that, then, I'm going to pull out both of my crossbows and fire them both, one after the other, at, again, not in the effort to hit him, but in the effort to intimidate.
Got you.
That makes sense.
You want them to miss.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, that's easy. That's easy. It's very easy to miss somebody. So, don't roll attack rolls for the crossbows. Just roll intimidation with advantage.
For both of them, so 4 rolls.
No, just once.
Oh, just one.
Yeah.
Okay. Son of a... I rolled a 6 and a 7, so that's a... Intimidation 12.
Yeah, I mean, you're sort of sloppily flinging 2 bolts into the woods, just like, and stay out.
Yeah, you... That's right. Run away from me, Roger.
Bitch.
Yeah.
Hope walks up to you. She grabs you by your arm, she grabs your elbow and she sort of spins you to look at her. And she says,
Have we forgotten whose side we're on?
Last time I checked, I'm on my own side. Now, I'm very much fed up with the way that King Kelly has been doing everything. I'm very, very tired of working all the time to make absolutely no money. The reason our purse is short is because we have no initiative whatsoever on how to actually improve upon our family.
Terran, I don't need another diatribe out of you. You're all talk, aren't you? Either get the fuck out of the gang or shape up. I'm tired of this wishy-washy bullshit.
What do you mean wishy-washy bullshit? You've been dealing with all of this. Besides, you're only Hartford's favorite pupil apparently because of the way you look.
Can I help that? You think I'm not going to take advantage of that?
Who's the most gifted in all of them? Who has the most gifted magic out of all three of us? Don't even worry about the other one. Who's been gifted with all of that?
All right, do something about it.
Who
then.
is?
Do something with it. I don't need to hear it. It's all talk. Yes, wishy-washy. You're gonna shit on the gang and then stay.
I'm quite frankly, I'm very fed up with the gang or family or barely whatever this is. I think I'm going to a new line of work, and I think I was given a very wonderful lead from our friend who we did not kill on the road. And I think I'm going to find my employment with one, and I pull out the newspaper from my pocket. One. Does it say Everett Tilcott in the paper?
You bet it does.
One. And I look. One. I now look over to an empty horse, and I go. One.
You look over, and he is peeking his head out from behind the horse's rump. He sees you looking at him, and he sort of goes, "Hi."
One. Everett Tilcott.
Sorry, you said my name?
You're the person that everyone's been talking about recently, yes?
Sorry, is the fight done?
Oh my, yes. And
I wouldn't be so sure.
I also
about
forgot.
That, Hope says.
Well, consider this my resignation from King Kelly's brigand. And
Terran. She grabs both of your arms now. You know that means that you have to be my enemy now.
Well. Or you could just pretend like you've never seen me and you don't know where I went. Or maybe I happened to have pull the arrow out of me. Because he shot me with an arrow, yeah.
That's right. Wasn't very deep.
Maybe your friend Roger caused me to meet my untimely demise, much like our friend, that one.
Yeah, what's her name?
Yes. I'll call her Janet.
Hold out your arm.
Why is that?
She pulls out a dagger. She grabs you by the wrist and just nicks your arm. You take a point of damage.
Ow.
I want to be telling the truth when I tell King Kelly that I sliced you up.
Oh, you are quite the wordsmith, aren't you? Maybe one day you will make quite the bard.
Shut up.
And with that, where's Eddie right now?
Eddie is sort of on his way back to stand between Everett and this conversation. So he's only about, 15 feet away from you. 20 feet, maybe.
Yes. Oh, my dear Edward and my new compatriot, Mr. Tilbot. It seems that I might be in need for a new line of work. And you seem quite the interesting friends that I could have.
Since you were a boy, I always had the inkling that you'd be wise enough to walk away.
Everett says, anyone who wants to walk away, either of you, will be welcome in Tilcott. You'll have a place to stay. You'll have important work to do.
And then I look over at Hope, and I go, well, you could join.
Make a persuasion check.
It's 14.
She looks at you for an elongated moment. And she furrows her brow and she shakes her head.
Understood, Hope. Well. Oh, you've caught me in a moment of, dare I say, weakness. I can almost stomach to say that I'm going to miss you.
Yeah, all right.
Take care of yourself, and don't give in to the lackluster nature of King Kelly.
Well, you do yourself a favor, and me, by not showing your face in the woods, because if anybody sees you, I am fucked.
You never saw me. You won't ever see my face again, and I'd like to cast Cure Wounds upon myself.
Okay.
And I just give out a little... And, that is 9? Alright, well, without even... I'm back to full hit points, even without, needing to add the modifier. Great.
Eddie
Well,
sort of sheepishly steps up to you. He looks down at the wound that's dripping blood, and he says,
You don't suppose you might spread the love?
oh my dear, it has been far too long, hasn't it? And I will do... Yeah, I'll do the same thing. I'll cast Healing Word, and through just the radiation of my... The literally, like, from the vibrations of my voice, it almost shakes through my hand and restores the wound in his chest. That's 10 without the modifier.
Terrific. That seals up that wound. The way that I like to describe healing magic is that it does not reverse injury, it speeds healing. So
I like that.
So if you snap your arm and you heal it, and you heal it carelessly, it will be fused crooked for the rest of your life.
Whoa. Okay.
You, Taryn, will now forever have a deep pock mark in your abdomen from where this arrow dug in. As will Eddie on his chest. And you also will always have the reminder on your arm of your promise to Hope.
Very well. Well, Hope, it has been an absolute pleasure. I hope to never see you again, and I hope you never see me again, because that would be... that would not be fun.
Not at all. The feeling's mutual.
Ta-ta.
If I see you again, I'll fucking kill you.
Not if I kill you first.
She looks off to the woods. She goes, well, great. Now I have to find my bloody co-worker.
Oh, yes. And if you would, just tell him, with my final dying breaths, I wanted to bequeath him 4 copper pieces. And I just give her the 4 copper pieces. In my remaining will and testament.
Those copper pieces are mine. Thank you. I'm not telling him shit. Ta-ta now.
All right.
She hops up onto
Bye.
the wagon. She grabs the reins. She starts to pull the wagon off onto the old road leading into the forest. You are now alone with Eddie and Everett and this big black horse that Everett rode on, and a pool of blood where the woman whose name you'll never know, one of the many nameless, faceless co-workers of yours.
Poor Margaret.
King Kelly likes to keep the different sects of the gang separate, and he prefers if they don't mingle much. But from what you understand, she was part of the infantry squad of the gang, and Roger was a survivalist, one of the bushmen, the hunter-gatherers in the gang.
Very well.
There's really only a few of each of these categories of people, but in the years that you've been working for Kelly, you find that the sense of regimented, militaristic structure is like his kink. He loves that. He loves the ranks. Every section of the group has a leader, and that leader responds to a higher leader, and those respond to him. In the years, you've probably never spoken to him. He's only ever made announcements or shouted at you to do your duty.
And as hope fades off into darkness, there's that feeling of the tension being released, of years of dealing with all of that fades away. A moment of humanity comes out of Taryn, of just well.
You feel
Well, it seems
Eddie
like...
put a meaty hand on your shoulder.
Oh. Hello, Edward.
He's sort of tilting his head down, leaning a little bit to be closer to your eye level. He said, "Believe you me, I recognize the feeling that you had just now. I had it about 6 years ago."
Yes, I can't believe it's done. It's all over. Well, guess on to bigger and better things, shall we?
Everett says, It's funny. We were just leaving Tilcott, headed for Denver to try to find more help. Mercenary help. I know you've probably lived a semi-violent life with the gang. And if that's something that you can't stand to do anymore, I understand. You can still, of course, come live on the estate, but we'll find some simple job for you to do. Maybe you can help at the blacksmiths, or there's plenty of construction to be done refurbishing the estate.
I'll just stop you right there. I never said I was finished with committing acts of violence.
Oh?
I just wanted to change my employer. So I would...
2 birds, 1 stone?
Something of that nature. Now, I've adopted a bit of a moniker over the last couple of years. And I believe that name, because I don't know, we haven't been properly introduced. My name is Taran Wolfshead.
Oh,
and I shake his
wait.
hand.
Wolf's Head, any relation to Lenore? That's a silly question, I guess.
Oh, my dear mother never seems to escape me.
Sorry, you're the son of Lenore Wolfshead?
The one and only.
Wow. Oh, that's so... How did you get here?
Well, me and dear Mumsy had a bit of a falling out several years ago. And I may or may not have given our family name a bit of a poorer reputation. Maybe mostly because of the way that I treated the help in our home. But they're paid to be there. I should be able to treat them as such.
Oh.
However, I do prefer a bit of anonymity, so I've taken up a bit of a moniker. One that is sort of fallen out of touch very recently. Over in the span of a couple of decades, actually, now. But I've taken up a bit of a moniker. Now, there may be some who try to imitate, but others may have referred to me as the Oaken Shadow.
He's going to roll a history check. That sounds familiar. I remember hearing about the Oaken Shadow in Zephrald. That was you way back when?
Not really me, necessarily. However, the name has been passed down over a couple of generations. And I would like to do a deception check.
Yeah.
That is a 22.
Wow. It's bringing
there
back
were many
memories.
in my line.
I can't quite place it, but it sounds very familiar.
Well, no need. No need to fret. I just don't prefer to be associated with the Wolf's Head name anymore, as I don't want any unnecessary attention.
Eddie says, "Forgive me. Maybe I'm not the most worldly. After all, it's been some time since I was in the capital. Wolf's Head, Lenore Wolf's Head. What does your mother do?"
Oh, she's one of the most reputable comedians and playwrights in the capital. And I, her one and only prodigy, dare I say.
Is that where you got your flair for the dramatic?
Something of that nature. I just sort of grab the hilt of my rapier, which is just a regular rapier, but it's just very ornate. There's like jewels and gems on it, but it's still just a regular, standard old rapier. Mm-hmm. Something of that nature, that sort. And I just sort of just tap that. and may have been blessed with several other skills.
So, sorry, do you not want us to call you Taryn?
You could call me Taryn. Just maybe keep the wolf's head a bit. Just amongst friends.
Understood.
You may. However.
A little hush-hush.
Yes.
Well, that's what I used to do with Tilcott, so I understand.
Well, two birds with one stone, I guess.
Well, we've been walking through these woods for a long time, and we're a bit exhausted. Do you think that maybe we could pop into Danver and rest and recuperate? Is that something that you would be able to do given your occupation?
Well, maybe Taryn Wolfshead may not be able to walk freely about in Denver. However, I just put the beard back on. But maybe just a kind old gentleman might be able to roam freely around the streets of Denver. And you can call me Dungus Malungus.
I don't think I'll call you anything. Maybe we'll just sort of split off in Denver and collect ourselves after a day or so.
Well, if you happen to have any sort of resources to rest a bit, I did help dear Edward here. Notwithstanding the fact that I was the one who got him shot. However, I did help them, so I would really appreciate some sort of compensation. Maybe just in the inn, or several nights at the inn. Maybe a little bit of a, I don't know, an advance on
Right.
what my services might.
That seems only fair. He pulls out a small coin purse, and he empties it into his palm, and there are a few copper, 2 silver, 2 gold, and he hands you a gold piece. I hope that'll cover things.
And is he holding it out in his palm?
He's just holding the coin out to drop into your hand.
Thank you very much. And I reach to the other hand and take the rest of that handful. Very kind of you.
Eddie says,
Wait just a moment. If you are going to change your life, you must start by changing your actions, dear Taryn. This is, after all, the Lord of Tilcott. I would prefer to stay in his good graces.
Very well. If it favors the Lord, I give him coins back. Can I take the 1 gold, please?
that was a joke, right? You were joking.
Yes, of course. And that's a 23 for deception.
You scared me for a second.
No, I like to do things in jest with my new friends.
Well, it's going to be nice to have somebody with a good sense of humor in town. I'm sorry, Eddie. That was probably rude.
No, I quite agree.
Oh, Edward. Oh, it's so nice to see you. We'll have to catch up and
So, the 3 of you walk the few miles to Danver, It's not a very long walk. And once you arrive in town, you split off from Eddie and Everett, and you agree to meet back where the highway leaves the town. Same time tomorrow. So you have a day to accomplish anything in Denver that you need to get done before it's time to traipse through the woods again.
Well, I would like to find a general store, stock up on some healing potions of some sort.
Healing potions are not something that you can find at any old establishment.
Rather, excuse me, like an alchemist or an apothecary.
Something that might take a little while to get used to in this campaign is that magical items aren't going to be something that you can purchase.
Of course.
There is an alchemist in town that provides non-instantaneous and non-magical ointments and bandages and balms. Herbs that are good for canker sores and for bringing down a fever. But for anything that's gonna heal you in a pinch, you'll have to find a very special person to get something like that.
Very well then.
But a general store can provide you with food, with bandages, with healer's kits. If you need like first aid, do you know the rules for healer's kits? What that does?
I actually don't.
A healer's kit costs an action to use up. It's like 10 uses in a kit, 10 uses worth of supplies, and you use an action and you stabilize an unconscious person, so it gets rid of the need for spare the dying, basically.
Got it.
But even that doesn't give you back hit points unless you take the healer feat, which is its own different thing. But
yeah.
But that's useful in a pinch because I believe that you don't have spare the dying. Am I right, or do you? No, you don't.
Phil did.
Phil certainly did. Look how much that helped him out.
Look how much that dying was spared.
Yeah, you can't spare yourself, can you?
Yeah. Actually, can I ask a meta question real quick?
Yeah.
Is the horse that they were on, is that the horse that Phil healed?
That is the horse that Phil healed. You see, there's a bunch of hairless strips along the horse that are scars that were just recently magically healed by Phil. Yeah. Not that Taryn has any reason to wonder, but that is the horse that Everett has now taken to calling his own.
Hilarious.
The very same.
All right. Well, yeah. So I just want to stock up on some general supplies of like maybe grabbing a healer's kit, and yeah, definitely grabbing a healer's kit, and some bread and cheese, and apple, just like bits and pieces to make himself a little cheese plate.
Sure.
Because it's been a bit rough at King Kelly's for a while, and even just being in a city to get some food is quite nice to actually fill his belly, and he might even and also even just going to a tavern and getting a big bowl of stew.
Okay, absolutely. A few days' rations, a healer's kit, and a stay in the tavern, and a hot meal at the tavern. Mm-hmm. You'll be left over with 2 silver pieces.
Beautiful.
Which is still more than you get maybe in a week out of working for Kelly. Although he does supply rotten meat and moldy bread, so that's one of the perks.
Yippee. Great.
So you spend the night in town. This is the first night that you have spent in a town in years. Especially free. You have nobody looking over your shoulder. You've got no tasks to be completed while you're in town. You're not being charged with any particular, sting or ambush or intel gathering, which are the only 3 reasons that you've been sent into town in recent memory. You're a free man. What does it do to Taryn's brain?
Well, first of all, because I'm assuming that throughout the process of this, I have been disguised as an old man.
That's right.
Buying all of these things. And as the door closes, as I close the door behind me in the tavern room, in the bedroom that I've procured, the beard comes off, the hat comes off, pulls off the cloak covering what is rather ornate, like hunter green, about the color of this dye. A very hunter green and brown leather set of armor. And he pulls out a mirror from his pocket, like a little hand mirror. He just looks at himself. And he looks at the armor and he looks around and he sits down on the bed. And as he looks at himself, the words that Eddie said start to echo in his mind.
Your life
of needing to change his ways.
must start by changing your actions.
As he reflects on
Dear Tara,
falling out of favor with his family and losing someone, the closest thing that he's ever had to a best friend, all sort of compounding. And as he sits there, puts the mirror down, deep contemplation. Well, I guess things really can change. Maybe I could do my mother proud. And with that, just collapses, just in pure exhaustion, relief, everything just falls into the bed, fully clothed, and just passes out.
Well, that's the 3rd episode of Deepest Darkness on Dreamroll. Thanks
and I
very
didn't
much,
die.
Dan. You didn't die. And you totally could have died. Thanks very much, Dan. Underscoring and sound effects, courtesy of Pocket Bard. Really cool app for TTRPGs. Check it out. Theme song, which you're listening to right now, by our very own, unfortunately absent Matt Staley. Let's see. Go play Darkest Dungeon. It's so cool. And this particular episode has very little to do with Darkest Dungeon, but we still thank them for the inspiration. Thank you, Dan.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, audience.
Hey, thanks so much for tuning in.
Later, Gators.